children that are growing up around autistic kids, and maybe those kids before were put somewhere else, but now Neve, our daughter's, we've put her into a mainstream infant school at the moment, and all the other children just seem to flock around her. They're fascinated by her, and they really kind of honour her condition. And
isn't it amazing? Yeah.
And we think, there's been times we've been torn, do we put her into a special school, or do we keep her where she is? And we've decided to keep her where she is at the moment. But she's got no problems at school. She's got no ego. She really doesn't care whether she's being spoken to by a child or being spoken to by the headmistress. Everyone is equal. And in fact, the headmistress just can't get her head around it, because Neve will just talk to her or do things to her that no other child would ever do. And it kind of knocks her nose out of joint.
No, I'm sure, but at the same time she can't
really
put her own ego at the child because the child's autistic.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. And it's funny, it's like what they give you is amnesty. I call it playing the A card. Scup, he's coming sitting on it. Hey, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Do you want to say hi to the phone? Because there's someone doing an interview. Quickly. Say hi, Rowan.
Hi, I'm Rowan.
Hello, Rowan. How are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to meet you.
What's that on the phone? Peter.
Peter?
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Ian. Ian. And I've got a young daughter called Neve, who's very similar to you. Very wonderful daughter.
And where does she live?
I didn't quite catch what you just said. Are you okay? Are you still there?
Oh.
Yeah, I was just saying that I've got my daughter's very similar to you in your outlook in life, and she's a wonderful gift to the world in the same way that you are as well, and the work that your dad has done through you. So, are you having a nice holiday in the UK?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, have you been riding horses? Yeah. And how did you find your trip to Mongolia? Did you enjoy your trip? Because you met a little boy called Tomo, is that right? You became really good friends.
What's your daughter called?
Neve. Neve, N-I-E-V-E. It means snowy in Spanish. Yeah? So are you happy at school? Yes.
Do you want to keep talking, mate, or do you want to end the call? How do you feel?
End the call.
You want to end the call? Alright, well, then just say bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Oh, bless him.
That was the best he's ever done on the phone.
That's really, really good.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Without having somebody there, to back and forth with it, it's usually very tough.
Yeah.
I was quite amazed at some of the...
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes I ring home and Neve will answer the phone, and I don't quite get a conversation. You don't really get any sort of loop going on.
Yeah.
You can kind of get a conversation through the nouns of certain words.
Right.
And you get a kind of a feel of the conversation. But it's amazing how their minds work, because
isn't it?
It's like everything's concrete, isn't it? The abstract part is not quite there, is it? It's almost like everything's a concept rather than linear. Like we kind of think things in steps, don't we? Like written language, spoken language. It's about putting things in front of the other. But to them, I think it's just more of a concept. And how would we think like them? But they're working really hard to try and bridge towards us.
It's right. It's like they've been dumped in China, know, and they just have to quickly learn Chinese. And they do, that's the thing, they do learn Chinese, but they don't lose the essence of who they are. Who's this person behind? I mean, Temple Grandin puts it very well, that thing of learning to use language itself as a second language.
Yeah.
And then there's all kinds of, my wife's work is quite interesting. She works with, she's a psychologist and a professor of psychology, and she works with the Buddhist idea of self-compassion. But she has some interesting points about how it seems that language and ego are language and self-concept, at least, are very, very tied up with each other. And these kids are just coming from a totally different viewpoint. But organically, it's like we're all catching up with each other.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
It's an enigma, it's a mystery, but I feel sure that we're being led to a much better place through this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I do. So, obviously you've got the book out now.
Yeah.
I mean, have you had quite a good response from the book?
Yes, we have. It has been mixed. The people who've reacted negatively to the book tend to have been people who haven't read it, and therefore think that we're saying there's a miracle cure, or shamanism cures autism, or horses cure autism, or something like that. But the people who have read it, we've had great response from, and of course a lot of them have been parents going through exactly what we've gone through. So what I'm flabbergasted by is the sort of scale of it. I had no idea that there would be this level of response.
Yeah.
But I don't see that really as me. I see that as kind of me being a bit of a conduit or a vessel for Rowan getting his story out, for the greater sort of benefit in that, you know, as an autism parent, that you learn most of what's useful from other parents, and a lot of it we learn second-hand as well as first-hand through accounts on the internet, or accounts that are written down, or whatever, you know, just stuff that comes to us. And then, you know, there's also the stuff we learn first-hand through other parents that we know.
Yeah.
But there's this need, because it's a really young subject, for kind of everybody's experience to be out there and readily available. And then each new family diagnosis that comes in has a greater range of things to check in with.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we definitely know is that for every family it's totally individual.
Yeah. See, the thing is that when the child is first diagnosed, like what you said at the beginning of the interview, that it's almost like a bereavement in a way for most people, because it's the child is never going to be what they expect it to be.
Absolutely.
But then the work that you've done through bringing this story out through Rowan is that you're inspiring people to see the condition as a gift, and that basically, rather than just forget about these kids and then turn your back on them, that you can embrace them and you can really get the best out of them, and by getting the best out of them you can bring out whatever it is in them that they've got, which is really, really special. So it's, you know, like, it's almost like people can be closed down and suppressed, and then whatever they've got is hidden. But if you know, just really open these kids up, then they could be amazing at, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter if they're going to be geniuses in mathematics or art or not. It could be a very small thing, but it could be extremely creative and just inspirational for others. And what I find amazing about it is this, that, you know, as a person, you are what I would call a doer. You know, like, you're inspired and then you go and do something. So you take action and you pull it out there. And, you know, the world doesn't have enough of those people, really. But every now and again you get a great thing like this, and, you know, it's inspired me, and I've inspired other people through your book. Do you see what I mean? So it goes on and on and on. And, you know, I really do hope that this story gets out further afield. I know that you mentioned about there's a film coming out based on this as well later.
Yes, there is. Yeah,
because you actually videotaped the whole session.
We did. We thought we should, because I had this gut feeling that there would be change, and I thought that if I was in a position where, you know, someone came back from a place like Mongolia and said I had this great result but couldn't really show it, it would be a little bit like playing with people's hearts. You know what I mean? It's that you have a bit of a duty, I think, to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Or at least not just ask people to be courageous, but also, if there was change, thinking, well, if we could get it on camera, wouldn't that be useful? You know, for people to see. It doesn't mean you swing to this other end of the pendulum where you go, therefore every single child must go out to Mongolia and go to a shaman and ride a horse. No. What we're saying is, remember, it was Rowan that took me to the horses. I was keeping Rowan away from the horses. He, when he was still non-verbal, took me to where he wanted to be. Now, he could have also taken me in any other direction. If his interest had been machines and music, then our story would have been about that. It doesn't matter what the child is interested in. What matters is that when they show you, by physically placing themselves there time and time again, you follow it. And through that, you're going to find your way, you and the child and your family together. In our case, it was horses and autism and nature, and shamans. You know, in another case, it's going to be something else. But it's something about listening to the child.
Yeah. What I find amazing is, how did you get all this off the ground? I mean, you've got a book, you've got a film coming out. It's no small feat to get all that organised.
I was as flabbergasted as anybody else. I mean, I don't know. I've been a writer for a while, and you know,